There might be nothing wrong with your credit, it's just how you've presented to the lender. So you have to be really careful about that. And so if we knew that that was the case with your file, there are things that we can do, and lenders who will actually bypass the credit score but actually do a proper assessment on you. So none of those things should be a detriment, but they can appear detrimental on a credit score. So if you're not careful, this is what can happen. Let me tell them about. Okay, we became the national winner for the Australian Achiever Award for Finance and Insurance. Yay! For 2024.
For 2024.
Woo! So that was pretty cool.
It's a pretty good award.
It's a pretty good award. And we get this lovely trophy in the background there too. Yay! So that's us. Property Education Company. Awesome at customer service. In loans this week, we're still getting lots of people buying property, which is great. And interest rates, there's some really interesting things coming out because the lenders are reacting to the changes in the tax rates that are coming at the end of the month, but some of them are bringing them in early. And while they are assessing you with your household living expenses going higher, they're actually giving you the benefit of the tax deduction now. So that's helping some servicing, and that's a really big tip. So if you weren't servicing even a couple of weeks ago, try again, because we might be able to do more. Today's topic is what factors do lenders consider besides your credit score? Well, here's the thing with assessment in lending. Some lenders will do an automatic credit score on your file the minute you submit. Boom, submit. If your credit score is low, then you might get an instant decline. And this has happened very rarely, but a couple of times during my time as a mortgage broker. It's rare, but it does happen. And it might be from something as simple as you have gone and shopped at lots of lenders before you've come to us, and so you might have gone, oh, I just thought I'd apply for that furniture loan because I was in Harvey Norman, and then I didn't go through with it, but I applied. And then I also went and applied at Toyota for a car loan, but then I didn't proceed and didn't buy the car. And then I also went in and opened a credit card, but then I don't use it. And you keep doing that sort of behaviour. Or I went into somewhere else and tried to get a home loan, and then I didn't proceed. And now I've come to you, but they didn't tell me all of that. And then they end up with lots of hits on their credit file, and that can be really detrimental to your experience in lending. And there might be nothing wrong with your credit, it's just how you've presented to the lender. So you have to be really careful about that. And so if we knew that that was the case with your file, there are things that we can do, and lenders who will actually bypass the credit score but actually do a proper assessment on you. So none of those things should be a detriment, but they can appear detrimental on a credit score. So if you're not careful, this is what can happen.
I was going to say, a lot of the times we also do a quick check on your credit file.
We do.
We do. We do a quick scan to see how it's all ticking along. And we use a lot of the same processes that the lenders do.
Except ours doesn't leave a hit on your file. That's the difference.
That is true. And
ours is a soft approach.
And we did do that. We did talk about that actually last week in Monday Mortgage Live about how we use a similar process, but we don't leave hits on your credit file. So we can actually see what's going on in your credit file. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes we've had a few clients go, oh, I don't know where all this has come from. And there's been a case of fraud or two, sadly, against someone's stolen this person's identity and gone off and done a bunch of nasty things on their credit, which is terrible. There's also people who, like I said, just forgot that I went to apply for this credit card, didn't even bother getting the card, and like it's still a hit on your credit file. And you can learn how to clean that up, which we're going to discuss today.
Yeah. One of the things the banks use, and it's an old-fashioned way of looking at it, but it still ranks as a way to be assessed. And you need to think about it. It's called the 5 C's of credit. So they are character, capacity, capital, conditions, and collateral. So what do they mean? So your character. Are you trustworthy? And would you lend to you? And I've actually had clients say, no, I probably wouldn't lend to me. Then you probably shouldn't be getting a loan because no one else would want to lend to you either. Capacity. Have you got an ability to repay the loan?
Okay.
So yes, that's important. Next, capital. Your overall financial situation. Do you own a house? Do you own a business? What sort of assets do you have behind you? Because they'll look at some people and they'll come to them late 40s or 50s and have no assets at all. And they're going, well, why would we lend to you for a house when you haven't been able to manage that up till now? So we need to have the good whole story about what's been happening in your life to explain that to the lender. Because otherwise, they're looking at this character, capital, and they're saying, well, these people maybe are not a good fit for us. So we need to do that assessment before we submit you.
We've got to see proof that you're actually working. You've got finances backing you up and assets backing you up. You can't go like...
Well, you can, but, there might be a reason.
Yeah.
And so we need to investigate that and present it the right way to a lender, right?
Build the story.
Yes, build proper stories. And then next, the conditions of the economy. Often banks and lenders will get very negative during major events like the GFC or in COVID when things started happening. People were a bit scared, and so loans were getting declined. In normal circumstances, they wouldn't have been. They would have been approved. So when things are a bit shaky in the overall economy, sometimes lenders that will reflect in how they're dealing with you. And collateral. What asset are you prepared to put up? And I've had people even offer cows as collateral, which you can do for certain types of loans, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But more traditionally, cars and houses are more that we look at.
Absolutely. So, how to get your credit report?
So, there are several ways to get your credit report and several companies who do credit for. The big one is Equifax. Ilion's another, I believe. You can request a credit report.
And you get a free one.
Every year. Once a year.
What can you do to protect yourself?
So, you can actually put a block of people hitting on your credit file. So, we can discuss what it's like when it comes to a lender, okay? But sometimes if you're worried about people, say you're worried about your information getting out there. I've had a client recently, like I said, in case of fraud, and someone was hitting on their credit file consistently. They were taking out credit cards and whatnot. It was all ending up on their file. So what this client did, they put a block on it, stopped all the hits against it, and it just makes it she cannot take out a credit, new loan or new line of credit under that credit name or credit file.
While it's blocked.
While it's blocked, which is you can temporarily block it, put it back up. That's what we do with some of our clients who've got a block on their credit file because they're worried about it.
So then when we apply for the loan, we say, take it off. We're going to hit your file today with the lender, and then we'll put it straight back on so your file is protected. Yeah. So you know no one who you don't realise who's there having a look at your file. So it's a good way to protect yourself, and it's free, and they will do it for you automatically, and you just have to be able to ring them and sort it out. So they're really helpful on this.
I will say there are options. Some people I know who do this. You don't have to, but you can pay to get a credit report every month or so. It does cost a lot of money. It's I think $1,500 a year to do that.
No, I don't think it's that much.
I think it can get up to that much, depending on who you're with or depending on who you're going through.
Yep.
But there is an option in that regard. You can get your credit file checked more frequently. Once a year is enough though, especially if you've got a block on it.
Depends on your circumstances and what's going on.
Yeah. The main thing I want to keep in mind is when you actually read a credit file and you look at it and you're like, oh, what is all this? It's good to break it down and even ask either, say, a broker to explain it to you or a financial advisor especially, just so you can understand what's on there. Because what you'll get, you'll see your employment up there, you'll see some credit cards if you've got them, you'll see your home loan if you've got them, a personal loan if you've got it. It builds a story about you in a very concise manner.
It also notifies the lender how often you're paying your loan on time. So it notifies if you're just a couple of days late each month, it comes up. If you're more than that, you'll see the percentage of times you were late to repay something, so that can be a mark on your credit file as well. Not just the fact that you've got credit, but the fact that the repayment history is now fully visible on these credit files, and that's all part of the open banking that's been implemented the last few years.
So pay your things on time.
Yeah,
that's simple enough. Pay things on time.
Yeah, super. Now, any questions about looking at credit files? Because they are fascinating, but note, brokers can look at your credit file without you having any hit on your file. That's the most important thing. The bizarre thing people say to me is, oh, you're going to ruin my credit file. No, quite the opposite.
We try and protect it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So your topic for next week is we're going to talk about preparing for the end of financial year. And if you've made a mess of your finances this last financial year, maybe here's the chance to clean it up and get into good habits for the next 12 months. And I can show you what I do, how I organise it in my files, and have a big box for receipts and all the things that you need. So when I come July 1, I pull out my box and it's all done. Very easy.
Financial spring cleaning.
Yes, well, that could be.
Could be.
Yep, but it's definitely not spending.
Start spending.
All right, everyone, have a wonderful week.
We hope to see you next week for Mortgage Mondays to talk about your end of financial year plan. See you guys.